Potentials are humans who notice something strange in their world. They begin to question their reality to the point where they grab the attention of both red pills and agents. Thus, a race between humans and machines for the potentials begins. Who will get to them first? The resistance to free them, or the agents to trap or eliminate them? Welcome to Matrix Explained.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Previously, we read the Matrix comic, Get It, the story of Johnny, who with his friends saw the Matrix in theaters. Johnny didn't understand the movie at all. His two friends tried to explain it to him, but their efforts were in vain. At the end of the comic, it was revealed that Johnny's world was the Matrix, and that his friends and everyone near him were all agents. The title of today's comic is Who Says You Can't Get Good Help These Days? Written by Peter Page, the same author and illustrator who created the comic Get It, which we just talked about. This comic follows the story of another blue pill within the Matrix. Though this character does not have a name, he does share some similarities with the protagonist of Get It, Johnny. They are two blue pills completely oblivious to the Matrix, even though the truth was plastered in front of their faces. Both comics use the same art style, and both main characters look identical, with the noticeable exception being their hair color. Also, the no-name blue pill from today's comic seems to be older than Johnny. So is it possible that both men are the same character? Maybe. Maybe this blue pill is Johnny, older and crankier. But for the sake of this comic analysis, we will give him the nickname Blue. Like Johnny, Blue does not realize anything strange with his life. Yet, again, just like Johnny, he got the attention of both red pills and the machines. Our main character, Blue, is watching a movie in his entertainment room. My new widescreen plasma TV is way too big for my rec room. I can barely take in the cinematic glory that is Notting Hill. Julia Roberts' boobies are pixelated. This place needs a remodel. The doorbell rings. Who could this be at such an ungodly hour? It better not be one of those Greenpeace hippies again, or I'll... The doorbell continues to ring non-stop. Blue opens the door, and on the other side, there's this man he's never seen before. A black man wearing a black leather overcoat. Hey pal, can't you read? He points to the sign in front of his door that says no solicitors. I gave at the office. I know who you've been looking for, and I can help, said the mysterious man. Oh, you do, huh? How? You're looking for the architect, correct? The uninvited visitor interrupted. Well, an architect, yeah. But how did you know? Was I talking that loud? The Oracle told me. The Oracle? Must be one of my nosy neighbors. Contact this person. He will lead you to the architect. The mysterious man gives Blue a contact card. A keymaker? I wanted an architect. The keymaker will lead you to him. Oh, so this is a referral sort of thing. I assume there's a kickback involved. Just do as the keymaker tells you. The mysterious man leaves Blue's property while thinking to himself in doubt. This fellow doesn't seem the one material to me. I hope the Oracle didn't give me the wrong address. Later, Blue follows the address and arrives at a giant penthouse apartment building. There he meets the keymaker. Right this way, sir. For I, the keymaker, will lead you to the architect. The keymaker? The architect? Man, what a bunch of egomaniacs, Blue thinks to himself. The keymaker unlocks the door to the architect's apartment. Here you are, sir, said the keymaker. Thanks, responded Blue. Geez, just let yourself in, why don't ya? Remind me to never let him any of my keys, Blue thought to himself. Blue enters the dark and empty apartment. Then walls of TV screens turn on. Blue sees his face in each screen. Whoa! Looks like someone's got himself a satellite dish. I wonder how much a setup like this would set me back. Besides Blue and the hundreds of TV screens, there's a strange old man sitting in the middle of the room in a leather chair. Ah, at last we meet. I've been expecting you. Why wouldn't you be? I made an appointment, remember? Said Blue. You've no doubt figured out who I am, though you're hardly the first to do so. Of course. You're an architect. Like, duh. I am the architect, he interrupted. I can do anything. I build everything. Everything, huh? Asked Blue. Then you would have no problem remodeling my entertainment center. Your what? Asked the architect. He's trying to confound me with his circular logic. The architect thought to himself. I see. You do not mean an entertainment center. You mean the entertainment center. One that is the center of everything. Clearly you have chosen to keep your life in the Matrix.
You mean like a high-res Matrix TV? That would be awesome.
I'm having a difficult time grasping his thought process, but if I play along with him, I'm sure to beat him at his own game. The architect agrees to go with Blue to build this supposed entertainment center, and so, back at Blue's home.
Don't forget to hook up the wet bars, and I want Berber carpeting. I'm allergic to that synthetic stuff,
said Blue, scarfing down a bag of chips. Yes, you've told me many times already, said the architect. Phew, this is hard work. Now the first thing we must take into account about this comic is that it cannot be canon, because the events that occur teeter on the absurd. Morpheus visits Blue directly under the orders of the Oracle. He gives Blue information on how to meet the architect, and somehow the architect ended up building Blue's new entertainment room. This is a comedy completely outside the realms of possibilities within the Matrix. So again, it cannot be canon. Or can it? Don't be too hasty in discarding the possibility, no matter how absurd the story is. Remember that the Matrix happens in cycles. The simulation has been restarted countless times before, including the 6 simulations where the anomaly manifested itself. This story could have taken place in one of the hundreds or thousands of Matrix cycles that ran without the emergence of the anomaly. In the Matrix cycle of this comic book, the anomaly did not manifest itself because the human host was too stupid to understand that he lived in a false reality, which is why the path of the One was not activated. For the Matrix to be restarted by the One, he must first doubt reality, escape the simulation, take refuge within Zion, and create strong emotional bonds with the people of Zion. Those bonds tie into the One eventually choosing to save humanity. The entire path of the One depends on the chosen human to awaken to the real world. But if he does not wake up, the path cannot be fulfilled. Who says you can't get good help these days is perhaps the story of the first anomaly's host, who no matter how hard the machines or red pills tried, they all failed to wake him up. Now returning to the hypothetical that both Johnny and Blue are the same person, part of Johnny's story was that the agents were trying to explain to him what the Matrix was. Were they testing him to see if he was intelligent enough to understand, or were they teaching him to make him understand? Either option is plausible, but for the sake of this analysis, let's say that they were teaching him. From that point of view, it would make sense why the agents took Johnny to see the movie in the Get It comic, because they wanted him to question reality, though they did not succeed. If Blue is Johnny, then he continued to live his life without the anomaly activating, becoming bitter, oblivious, and more ignorant. So the Oracle sent Morpheus to lead him down the path of the One, to meet the Keymaker, and then the Architect. This is where the comic gets weird. Morpheus learned of the Keymaker thanks to Neo, because the Oracle sent Neo to find the Keymaker. Morpheus didn't know anything about the Architect in the movies, but in this comic, he knew that the Keymaker can lead someone to the Architect. Confused yet? This detail shows that these two comics, if they are related, do not take place in the simulation of the films. They could have taken place in a previous Matrix cycle. If so, this also indicates that Morpheus has existed in previous cycles or versions of the simulation, and that he has always been a tool of the Oracle, which we have theorized multiple times on this channel. Blue, or Johnny, went to meet the Keymaker, which led him to the Architect. Remember that the Keymaker died after he fulfilled his purpose to take Neo to meet the Architect.
I know because I must know. It is my purpose. It is the reason I'm here. The same reason we're all here.
Yet in this comic, he is alive and well. He was not a prisoner of the Merovingian, nor did he die after he fulfilled his purpose, again pointing to the comics taking place in another simulation. So the man meets the Architect, and their conversation is strange, to say the least. Blue thinks that the architect is a literal architect or constructor that can build him an entertainment center. The architect thinks that Blue's irrational behavior was a strategy of the anomaly to manipulate him. So the architect decides to play along and beat him at his own game. If we were to assume that this comic is not a comedic parody and that it is part of a previous simulation, then this could be one of the first interactions between the one and the architect that didn't go quite as the architect expected. This comic also shows the lengths that the architect is willing to go to maintain control over the anomaly. But the most overthought thing about this story is that, again, if Blue is Johnny, then he is a character who went through multiple events that should have woken up any other blue pill. But humorously, not him. This is a relatable fact. There are many people so involved in their own lives that they can't see what happens in the world. They live in a bubble, protected by ignorance. But do you agree? Is Johnny from the comic Get It and the unnamed blue pill protagonist from the comic Who Says You Can't Get Good Help These Days the same character? Was this the story of a previous one who never woke up or manifested as the anomaly? Or are we just overthinking this? For Matrix Explained, please leave a like and subscribe. And thank you for visiting the Desert of the Real.